Greetings, everyone. Greetings and welcome. It's been some time since I've returned to Pantheon. It's been about 4 months, actually, but I do have plans to come back, possibly re roll, or maybe even keep going with the cleric. But my good friend Vendini sent me this, and I thought it would be really fun to kind of take a look at this dev diary here. The commitment to tenets, which I think is very, very important, and it's something I've heard Joppa talk about many, many times. So we're gonna take a look at this post together, just kind of read through it, give you some thoughts. Maybe you can give me some thoughts, and we can kind of dive in and have a discussion. So what we stand for, this is going to be the main meat and potatoes of the article, if you will, the vision behind Pantheon's core tenets. If you've followed Pantheon for any length of time, you've probably heard of our core tenets. These are the guiding principles that shape every piece of the game we're building. However, we see them debated far too often within the community. We are taking this opportunity to revisit our tenets, to consolidate them and clarify them, and also to explain a bit of why these tenets exist, not just as lofty ideals, but as grounded design positions we are committing to in very real and practical ways. I love Joppa is very eloquent and he can speak so coherently and fluidly, and I really appreciate that about him. So I'm very excited that they're just kind of zeroing in on this because it truly is the most important. So number one, content is king. Definitely agree. I'm sure this diary is gonna expand on each one. Class identity matters. Very, very true. A challenging social game. Beautiful. Loving it. Risk should be rewarded. Absolutely. Player progression should be meaningful and multifaceted. Okay. Yep. A living, breathing world. Very important. Economy and rarity matter. Absolutely. And forge bonds that matter. Okay. Beautiful. I'm all for it. So number one, content is king. A thriving world demands a relentless commitment to content creation. If there's one thing MMO players have proven time and again, it's that they will always consume content faster than we think they will. They'll unlock the door, they'll beat the bosses, and they'll do it better than you planned for. This is the reality of making an MMORPG, especially one like Pantheon. Definitely agree. That's why this tenet is also a commitment. We are committed to keeping Pantheon's world alive with handmade, engaging content. It's as simple as saying content is king because without it, players will stop playing. So, as a statement of commitment to all of you and a daily reminder to us, content is very much king. And yes, we've heard the question, if content is king, where is it now? The answer is we're building it. Pantheon is still in active development, and while much of the world is still under construction, this tenet drives our efforts and scope. Yeah, definitely. So it is true. Like, these things are difficult to do. It's difficult to build a game, especially an MMORPG with a small team. That's probably the most difficult. So even me from the outside looking in gets that. And that's why I've been patient. I like the idea of letting devs cook as they will. And, just even if you have a you know, multi-billion dollar company with like hundreds of devs and people working on it, you're always going to have the small majority of players who ruthlessly go after it. They take time off work and just tackle the content, just blaze through it, whether that's day one, week one, whatever. You're always going to have those types of players. Um, but yeah, I mean, definitely. That's what it this is drives everything. This is what makes the world feel alive. This is what makes the game challenging, rewards players, progression. Everything is tied to this tenet number one. Absolutely, for sure. So I'm, yeah, I'm definitely very excited. I can't wait to see what they come up with. Love the dungeons in this game so far. The overworld I think could have like more like little camps and maybe named areas and stuff, but I'm excited to come back and see how it's shaped up. So no, let's look at number two now. Class identity matters. Classes are distinct, specialized, and designed within interdependent roles. Okay, Pantheon is built on the classic foundation of role-based gameplay: tank, DPS, healer, and support, which is amazing, by the way. Support is back, and I love that. I love that they see the value in having this lost fourth role, which is the support class, which includes dedicated crowd control, and our encounters are designed with these roles in mind. The core of Pantheon's group content relies on this interdependence of roles. Groups will need at least one tank, at least one healer, enough DPS, and support to provide necessary buffs, debuffs, and crowd control. But it goes deeper than this. Our goal is to create classes that aren't just variations of our role, but have a unique identity. Warriors and paladins both tank, but they don't feel the same. They don't approach fights the same way or support their groups in the same ways. The toolkits, the playstyle, the pacing, these ingredients create unique rhythms from class to class and how they play and how others play with them. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That's definitely very true. You can feel when you have like a different type of healer, different type of support, different type of tank, and you can kind of adjust accordingly. And yeah, it shouldn't feel like you're playing essentially four different roles and that's it, that are just cookie cutter. One thing I always say this as well, one thing that I really enjoy about this game, maybe not so much in Pantheon because you do need a tank. You can get absolutely wrecked if you don't. Man, I remember in the early days, it was that spider cave was rough. Anyway, I do like how you can just slap everything together if you need to though, and there's room in the group that allows, like, let's say you have three enchanters and you have one tank and no healer, let's say, or um you can find ways to just make it all work. But class identity is very very important. So that's something I would like to see fleshed out more. One thing that I noticed was like, for example, as a cleric, I look like I could be anything. I look like I could be a druid. I look like I could be a tank. I look like I could be just DPS kind of. I would like to see the classes just kind of feel more like their respective roles, but we're gonna get there. I think they added like the glowing book, which is kind of cool. Um, so yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look at number three here, a challenging social game. The game is built to challenge players and reward interdependence in combat, crafting, exploration, and knowledge. Let's start by saying this unequivocally. Pantheon is intended to be a group centric game. We are not building a solo centric game, which I love that. I love that so much. Instead, we want to emphasize the magic that happens when players work together. And I'm not just referring to combat encounters. You're not going to be able to master every crafting profession by yourselves. Okay, yeah. Blacksmiths may require goods from leatherworkers, and alchemists may have important transactions with provisioners as the need arises. This philosophy applies to perception as well. You won't be capable to uncover every mystery, connection, or outcome by yourself without comparing notes with or relying on the insights others have gained on their unique journeys. I love that. We know that right now soloing is too easy. This is something we continue to dial in over time. Soloing will become more deliberate and dangerous, but also more rewarding relative to the risk. But the vision is clear. Pantheon's heart and soul is found when players join each other to fight, craft, explore, and learn. Absolutely. And that's really what sold me on this game. When I first started, I kind of found myself having difficulty grouping up. it wasn't until my good friend logged in, we did some duo action, and it's nice. Like we can rely on each other. We bring different things to the table, and I do enjoy that. So like the perception system, for example, it's like let's say that my my cleric's like intelligence is not high enough to understand like a arcane symbol like on a inscribed on a wall or something, but the the summoner in the group or necromancer that does have a higher level of intelligence can kind of understand like the sort of why that's important or why that is what it is, and maybe the door can be unlocked, or maybe we can find this hidden chest because he was there. But just I get it, and I totally agree. Sometimes I don't have a choice to but to solo just because I don't have so much time. But I do like the idea of this being dialed in. And sometimes you have to step outside of your comfort zone. I get a little bit shy, and sometimes I don't want to lead the group or organize the group, but sometimes you just have to do that, and then that's beautiful. Then maybe you get some good people together, you can make some lasting friends, lasting connections, and you get a whole lot of experience. And yeah, that's just how these games go. Number 4, risk should be rewarded. The greatest rewards come from enduring the greatest dangers. We believe that challenge is what gives a reward its meaning and makes it satisfying. So we embrace risk taking as a fundamental design tenet. Long pools, unexpected ads, hostile factions, brutal climates, navigating the unknown, and the ever present risk of death. We want you to feel it when you're deep in a dungeon, and when you emerge with your spoils in hand, we want you nodding your head and saying, "Yeah, that was worth it." That's definitely me. We know that this tenet doesn't feel fully realized yet. Solo experience comes too easily with negligible risk. Sometimes the loot you get at the end of a tough fight doesn't seem to match the effort and risks you took to earn it. These things will continually be brought into alignment with this tenet as we refine systems, adjust pacing, dial in encounters, etc. The goal is that hard things should feel worth it. So, one thing that the Pantheon team did really exceptionally well, I thought, was that after multiple hours inside of the caves, when you come out and just see the light and just see that little crevice, and you just kind of come out and it's the light, and there's the road, and the birds are chirping, and the trees and the grass is green, and you're just like, oh, I feel so good to come out of this with all these rewards. I love that aspect of it. And I definitely do feel that being deep in a dungeon. I've died deep in Hallnir. It's really scary. The ambient noise, the lighting, like the tension, it's there. And it is true. It is true. Yeah, it's this needs to be there. It sucks to die, but also like it helps you to learn and just realize that this is a dangerous world. Number 5, player progression should be meaningful and multifaceted. Meaningful progression will increase power and social prestige while opening up more of the world to you. We are building Pantheon to have a strong sense of power progression. Ability upgrades that unlock with higher levels are potent. Stat points are weighed heavily, gear upgrades and attribute buffs are impactful. But beyond levels, we're putting an emphasis on horizontal character growth as well. I love it. Investing in your climbing skill and some climbing gear can dramatically affect where you can go and what you can reach. Eventually, your skill and perception will allow you to unlock additional storylines and hidden knowledge that others might miss entirely. Wow. Your crafting and harvesting skills elevate your place in the economy and your ability to create items others depend on. And as our water content grows, higher swimming skill and water based equipment begins to reflect the degree of your preparedness as a player. I really love that. I really love that. Um, It's been a while since I do it. I think they changed it kind of slightly, but when you jump into the water, I love how there's a sense of like dread and like fear of the unknown as you dive in, and it's deep, it's dark, you kind of feel like you're sinking. I love that part of it. um I love the idea of underwater dungeons, very dangerous, kind of like inconvenient, but also just kind of scary when your water breathing gets taken away, for example. Climbing for sure, absolutely. I've gotten a chance to reach some cool places. um the mastery system I'm very excited about. And yeah, I'm very excited to see how it all unfolds. This is going to be a little tricky, so it's going to take time. But yeah, absolutely. And, number six, a living, breathing world. Very important. Immersion comes from a believable world, not just visual fidelity. Absolutely. That is very true. In the words of Brad McQuaid, we are building a world with Pantheon, not just a game. Part of the way we are accomplishing this is by filling the world with believable denizens. The NPCs in Pantheon are not intended to be mere vending machines or quest markers. They have needs, allegiances, carry secrets, and hold opinions. To complement these interactions, we will emphasize factions that track your standing and give your decisions sizable impact. And still, it goes further. NPC dispositions will shape how enemies behave, creating an air of immersive unpredictability. The extreme climates of the world will challenge your preparedness and make you respect the forces of nature within Terminus. A living, believable world cannot be built around a treadmill of extrinsic rewards. It needs to be a place. Our goal is to build Pantheon to be a place in which you want to dwell. I love that. I love that so much. Um, yeah, definitely. Right now, it does seem like the NPCs are a little bit static, I will say, but I do love the plan. I do love the vision. And yeah, I'm very excited. Like, already to me, Demeth feels a little bit cozier than Avelia, I guess, was the starting settlement. But sometimes I make that run just for fun, and it's nice to see and just kind of feel like the coziness of where it all started. But I would like to see this expanded a little bit more. Like I said, there's certainly work in this department for sure to make it feel that way. But generally, I do like people. They're at the bank, they're at the trade skill area, they're asking questions, they're talking to each other, they're trying to figure things out. I love this idea here. So number seven, economy and rarity matter. Items should retain value through scarcity and community interdependence. Our goal is to cultivate an economy that slows inflationary bloat by delaying item saturation, embracing meaningful crafting, and empowering player interdependence through trade. Rare items should feel rare with the power to match. Crafted items should be on par with adventuring items, making them highly sought after. Player trading should be active and lucrative. This tenet isn't a declaration of current perfection. Our economy is still forming, itemization is being developed, and drop rates tuned, but the goal we are working towards should be clear. Yeah, absolutely. That's very important to a game. Excited to see how all that shapes out. Me personally, I'm not a trade skill guy, so I'm not gonna have like some big revelation or amazing commentary towards this. But always appreciate the crafters, people that grind hard to figure it out. And yeah, a lot of people have helped me along the way. I have some awesome gear, and that stuff wasn't easy to make for sure. So keep it up. And yeah, let's take a look at the last one here. Number eight, forge bonds that matter. The best stories in MMOs aren't written by developers; they're written between players. That is very true, and that I'm glad that's something that Joppa understands. In some ways, this might be the most important tenet of them all. We talk about community a lot around here and how much it matters. One of the key elements of classic MMORPGs that Pantheon is inspired by is the intensely social worlds they created. From the pace of combat to the interdependence of group roles to the need for shared travel, the danger and the downtime, it all serves the same purpose to create room for social bonds. This is something modern MMOs have forgotten how to do. With Pantheon, our goal is to remind you that the people you are playing with are people. We want to make those names on your screen matter, whether they become friends, guildmates, or rivals. Love that. Our hope is that this short article refines and clarifies the intentions behind what we're building with Pantheon and why it stands to be such an important game with the MMORPG landscape. Thank you for taking the time to read. As always, we look forward to seeing each of you in the living, breathing world of Terminus as it continues to take shape. Chris Joppa Perkins. That's amazing. I really love it. Big shout out to Joppa. I love how articulate he is and coherent. And this was a powerful article. It was very concise. It was very specific and honed in, and I love that they understand. They're not out of touch with reality. Certainly, Joppa understands. And he's working very hard. Hope he's doing great. And yeah, definitely agree with these 8 tenets. And yeah, I'm excited to see how the game shapes up. Hoping I can stream soon. And yeah, keep up the great work. Excited to see how it's all going to shape up. And have an amazing day, everyone. Thanks for watching and being here with me.